if it ain't one thing, it's another with the Philadelphia Eagles. It just seems like we never catch a break. So, if you've been under a rock, guys, and you haven't heard what happened, last night news broke that Doug Pederson has tested positive for COVID-19. All right, man, let's jump into it. What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching us. Once again, guys, my name is Steven Hyder, and this is Gate City Sports Channel. Today's topic. Look, I apologize, guys. I so much wanted to come on here and do the Grayland Arnold video today. I have all the clips pulled up for you. I'm just organizing my thoughts. I thought that was what I was going to do and post it tonight. But this broke, guys. You can't ignore it. This is significant news, so I'll do the Grayland Arnold video tomorrow. Let's talk about Doug, guys. Doug Pederson is asymptomatic. Asymptomatic meaning, guys, is that he's not exhibiting any of the symptoms of COVID-19. That's kind of a big deal because, first off, it's scary for the spread because who knows how long you've had it if you're asymptomatic. It's really difficult to tell, but it's also good news if it's not, generally speaking, the disease in itself or the virus in itself that'll kill you. It's the side effects, right, that really hurt an individual. That's why we treat those type of things, right? We're really treating the side effects of a virus, those kind of things, right? The symptoms. It's the symptoms that really do you in. So he's asymptomatic, which is, good news. Now, when we look at all the stuff that's going on, I got to give a shout out to my boy Jalen Williams. So Jalen was like, yo, Gate, yeah, he got it, man. And it certainly sucks. But look at the bright side. At least it happened early. Because could you imagine if we were halfway through the season and, he contracted the virus and now you got your head coach down for like a 2 to 3 week period of time? Like, hey, man. I always appreciate Jalen being able to put things into proper perspective because he's right. At least if you want to look at it from the positive side here, at least it happened now and not when we really needed Doug to be Doug and we're in the middle of the year, we're in the hunt of things, and then that kind of thing happened. The downside is look, he's the second head coach to contract it. Sean Payton did back in March, and now we got Doug contracting it. The obvious elephant in the room here is, might the NFL, city officials and governments maybe start to overreact to this kind of stuff? I don't know, guys. I don't want to make any predictions there because it's really hard to say. It's really hard to know, guys. As of right now, I anticipate there being an NFL season, but I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. I would not be shocked if we don't start to see an altered NFL schedule. We already saw somewhat of an altered schedule, right, with no preseason games and a weird training camp thing. I wouldn't be shocked to see the season delayed if people continue to contract the virus. I wouldn't be shocked to see us go down to a 12-game schedule. I think all those things are still in play technically, but I do think that the intent of the NFL is to have fanless stadiums, have games that are televised, but at the same time, what they're looking at is, at the end of the day, we're going to try to play 16 games. We're going to do the best we can to go through a full season and then just hope things kind of fall in place the way we want them to fall in place. That's the gut instinct I get from the NFL. But that elephant in the room is there, guys. I don't want to act like I don't see it. It's clearly there. I'm not an expert. I don't sit on any of these meetings, so I don't know. Ultimately, I'm just going off of what my gut instinct says here, guys. Now, what happens on the Philadelphia Eagles? Duce Staley. Duce Staley's getting a shot, man. Duce Staley's going to step in and run these programs. Duce has been, he's been on this Eagles coaching staff for a long time now. Duce is the assistant head coach, so clearly that title does actually have somewhat of a meaning because he stepped in for Doug Pederson here. And I'm excited for Duce, even though this isn't like a grand, whole ordeal, but Duce probably deserves more recognition than he gets, guys. I was a little off when we did the offensive coordinator search stuff. I thought Duce should have gotten more consideration than he did, but I also think that the way Doug and some other people may have looked at it is naming Duce Staley as your offensive coordinator could also be almost kind of viewed as a demotion at the same time. I think it's a weird place for Duce, but I'm happy that Duce Staley is honestly getting an opportunity to show off that he can organize team activities. He can organize a camp. He can do these things that a head coach does. Because I've always felt like Duce has a really good rapport with players. Duce is pretty gifted when it comes to coaching individual players. I mean, as a position coach, I don't think anyone doubts him. And he's done a heck of a job developing really, minuscule talent at times. I mean, I thought Duce has always been a really good position coach. And then at the same time, I do think Duce can scheme things. I think he's decent. I mean, he's not the running game coordinator here in Philadelphia, but he contributes to it. He sets the rotation for the Eagles on the running back rotation. I think this is an opportunity for Duce, and I think he should view it as an opportunity. I'm hoping that someday this young man gets an opportunity. Young man, he's a lot older than me. I'm hoping one day that Duce Staley gets an opportunity to either be an offensive coordinator somewhere to where he has actual play calling duties, or he gets an opportunity to be a head coach. Because I view Duce Staley in that manner, guys. I think Duce Staley has that kind of talent. He has that kind of potential. I think he's that good of a coach. I really do. I really think that Duce is underrated by a lot of people. Now, might this affect some things? I don't know. I guess it depends on when Doug Pederson will get back, guys. Let's just hope he gets back for 9-on-7 drills. 9-on-7 drills are the first real drills you can run in any kind of camp. Getting Doug back for 9-on-7 drills would go a long way. But if not, then Duce will basically be running these 9-on-7 drills. We got 101 coaches, guys. I mean, we got Rich Scandrello, who's been a coordinator. You promoted Press Taylor, you gave him that title. So let's see what Press Taylor and Duce Staley can do together, along with Rich Scandrello. And you got Marty Morningwig here as a consultant. You might need Marty to do a little more than you originally anticipated. I mean, let's just be real. We got, we've got the philosophy here. We've got the coaches here to do it. We're fine. You look at the wide receiver room. We've been adding guys. We brought Jason Avant in here to be an assistant, kind of coach for, an intern basically. We got, Aaron Moorhead leading that room. I mean, we're doing okay there. It's a receiving, coaching position. Like, I think now it's time to kind of work with, let's get, the foundations in place. Let's get these guys adjusted to what's going on. And I do think that Duce Staley is a pretty good administrator. So I think right now most of the stuff that's going on is administrative level stuff, and I think Duce can handle that. Listen, we're getting pretty down to the nitty gritty, guys. I mean, we're getting really close to getting to those 9-on-7 drills, getting to full contact padded drills. Like, it's just around the corner. It's just around the corner, and to me, that's when the season truly and honestly starts. Is with those contact drills. That's when we can evaluate things. And let's be real, this is a really incredibly difficult evaluation, made more complex by Doug not being there for some of it. It's going to be interesting, guys. We have a lot of guys that have soared out at positions like linebacker, running back, corner, right? Safety, wide receiver. Like, there are some positions where there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of, guys jockeying for position to make the roster here. And this is less than ideal circumstances, guys. My biggest fear for the Eagles is making the wrong selection of guys. Letting somebody walk who then gets signed to a practice squad, who then gets thrown on the active 53-man roster of another team, and then turns out to be decent because we didn't have enough time to truly evaluate. We didn't get to see these guys actually in games. So now it's like, crap, like, how do you evaluate? Now, we can talk about true evaluation. Like, how many guys are you really evaluating? 10 to 15 players, really, right? It's only maybe 10 to 15 spots you're going to genuinely have open. I mean, your top part, your starters, all that kind of stuff is really determined. Your key backups are already probably really determined at this point. But I would argue that even though it might only be 10 to 15 positions that we are, trying to analyze during this weird altered offseason, those 10 to 15 spots can be pretty important because they can entail things like special teams, right? We got to decide who's going to be the gunners on punt and kickoff returns. Who's going to be your kick returner? Who's going to be your punt returner, right? I mean, there's a lot of things going on here, guys. Who's your, if you're looking at your corners, like, how are you going to shake out this roster? How are you going to distinguish between people that you haven't had a chance to really evaluate yet? You don't have games to evaluate them on. You got proven commodities here in terms of kind of what they are, but how do you assess if they've made improvements over, like, the offseason? Like, if you don't have game action, like, I mean, you can look in camp, you can get a feel in camp, but guys don't go 100% in camp. I mean, you know, your young guys that are trying to prove themselves do, but I mean, most dudes aren't going 100%. So I'm a little curious, man. I mean, I think this is a really weird position we find ourselves in right now, guys. These are my thoughts, guys. You already know I'm going to ask you. I'm going to know, what do you think? Leave your comments down below. Tell me, what do you think about Doug being out, guys? What do you think about Duce Staley getting an opportunity for a couple of weeks to run and organize things? What do you guys think about how this pandemic is shaping, like, roster battles and how it already altered the schedule, guys? Like, what do you think about those 10 to 15 positions that could be legitimately open? Where do you guys see this stuff coming down? Like, I think all this stuff is important, guys. Just tell me your thoughts down below. Let's talk about it, guys. All right, y'all. You know how we end these videos. We do a little EAGLES. All right, y'all. Let's go.